Hi, everybody, and welcome back to this episode of my babbling podcast, I guess you could say, and welcome to the inside of my car, the only place that a mom probably ever has any privacy to herself. And yeah, here we are. So I just wanted to say, first off, thank you so much to everybody who followed me, subscribed, and if you have found me on YouTube, thank you so much for following me on there. It is a new journey to be in front of the camera. I am not necessarily one to be that comfortable with being the person of the focal point in a camera recording, but here we are. It is hellacious out today, hence PJs, tank tops, and, undone hair. Which anyone that has short hair, please help. Because I'm trying to grow it so I can, do a bob. So, need a little extra help. Anywho, let's do a brief, whatever is going on in the astrological world. It is eclipse season this month. And if you are like me, hold on, my husky is driving me crazy. Go lay down, Weasley. It has been crazy. It has been almost insane to the point of me wanting to just rage all the goddamn time, all the time. I am, like many women who are middle-aged, going through perimenopause. And for those of you who have not experienced this yet, it is like the PMS of menopause. Yay, go us. I love that for women. Mine was started early because of my C-section and having my daughter at 40, which, of course, yay, again. Woohoo! But yeah, so the heat is not our friend, and every little thing sets us off. And then, of course, this eclipse season, literally everything is setting me off. There are so many times that I've thrown my husband's shoes out the door, or just, for lack of a better terms, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing, dude? And it's all relative, I know. I know a lot of women go through this, where it's like, you have a toddler, and then your husband realizes he's not the toddler anymore, so he's got to act out. But this eclipse is really showing that to, a larger extent. We are having to focus on our relationships, focus on, not just romantic relationships. So when I say that, I also mean friendships. I've spoke a lot about this in the recent months. Probably the last eclipse, I mentioned a little bit about this, where I'm not going to show up for people who aren't going to show up for me. Yeah. Have you been going through this too? Because that's pretty much what this eclipse is showing me. The amount of years that I have been a rock for people, but then this past year and a half probably was one of the hardest in a long time that I've gone through, be it, postpartum depression, perimenopause, but I felt like having my daughter and the crap that my husband and I went through, just in our relationship and our personal lives. And, it was rough there for a minute. It was hella rough. And yeah, I became a burden. And that's my biggest fear, is being people's burden. And then this past eclipse, I was like, wait a minute. Why is it okay for other people to burden me with their burdens? And I help them because that's who I am as a person. I like helping my friends. I like helping people I care about with their, troubles. But then when it's, I don't want to say my turn, but then when I reach out and hear the redonkulous excuses for why people didn't want to talk to me. So yeah, I went through my phone and I was like, you know what? I haven't heard from this person in 6 months. You have absolutely no idea the good things that are going on in my life. Why should I bother to reach out? Delete. I mean, I even deleted messages. I don't give a fuck anymore. And then I saw something. I think I posted it on here. I know I posted it on YouTube, but I saw something where it was saying how, with all due respect, kindly fuck off if you say you know me, because if you haven't reached out to me in the past 6 months, no, you don't know me. You don't know the level that I'm at. You don't know where I am. And then to follow up, I saw another video, and I ended up, I did remix it a little bit because I really liked it, and it was true. And it was saying how I was focused so much on being a good person, a kind person, that I was allowing people to use me as a doormat by using the excuse of they're going through something really hard. I kept using that. I kept saying that to my husband. Oh, well, they're really busy. Oh, they're going through something hard. And then I realized, but wait a minute, what about me? I'm going through something and I still show up for people. I go through stuff and I still put it to the side to make priorities for the people I care about. So yeah, that argument's invalid to me at this moment. And in the terms of many, many middle-aged women that have come before me, I don't give a rat's bananas. I don't have any bananas to give to these rats anymore. Yeah, for lack of a better word, I'm done. I'm done. And that goes without saying. I've had these revelations in the past and I kind of ignored them. But I also realized that because of my background and where I came from, people held me to a certain degree or expectation. Side note, because y'all know I do these tangents all the time, I also saw something similar that kind of pissed me off. And I wrote a comment, and I never do this. I'm not a troll. I hate that shit. I don't do, confrontation with people I don't know. But I saw this chick write an entire freaking Substack about how she wouldn't date a guy because she only went out with him because his parents were wealthy. And then when he asked to split the bill, she threw a tantrum and walked out on him and then wouldn't answer his calls or date him anymore because if his parents were rich, he should pay for the meal. Okay, baby. And the only reason I commented this is because literally my entire life is like that. I look back in history and the amount of times I was a taxi or loan shark, you could say, a bank account to people, and people would just use the excuse of, oh, your parents have money. Yeah, my parents have money. You don't know my story. You don't know how to be a part of the real world. My father decided to cut me off at 17 because I wanted to go do my own thing. So no, baby, I am just like everybody else. I have a job. I do this. And no one believes me. And I spent so many years trying to prove. I mean, I even put myself into debt to try and prove how I was just like everybody else. Get fucked. Who the fuck cares anymore? And yes, I'm cussing in this one because I'm a cusser. But stop judging people on their goddamn family. Just because my parents have all the money in the world doesn't mean I do. Doesn't mean I have any coming to me. It just means people judge me based on a preconceived notion. And the reason I'm saying this is because this trickles down into the friendship thing. Do you know how many friends I have had that want to put me in my place or teach me a lesson? And this has all been coming up in this eclipse where it's like, I've let people talk down to me my entire life because they think just because I came from a wealthy family that I need to be told constantly how to change. And the only reason this has bugged me so much is this year I found out I'm autistic. Go figure. My entire life I was told I wasn't. And then I watched this cheesy freaking dating show on Netflix when we had it, Love on the Spectrum, and I was like, you know what? I relate to a lot of these people on here. I mean, it's not to that degree, but there were things like the routines and the emotions and the anxiety, and I was like, is this trauma or is this autism tick? So I went and, I've been doing testing and yeah, I've been masking literally my whole fucking life and being told that I was not something that I was. And yeah, that's been fun to navigate and also very relieving and also very eye-opening again when it comes to, I can't even make this up. This is such a tangent, but there are so many times when people would put me in their place for the things they don't like about me. They never talked about what was good about me, but they talked about what they didn't like me. And now looking back, I remember even in the moment being like, you do the same exact things. Mine is because I'm masking, which I didn't find out until now. But yeah, I've had somebody come to my house one time and they were so pissed at me, they brought a color-coded notebook and full of notes of what I was doing wrong and how I made them feel, instead of just being like, hey, you hurt my feelings, let's work this out. And I was more offended that they took hours to color code what was wrong with me versus just talking the shit out, right? And then I look back and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm only reflecting what people do to me. What the fuck is going on? And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I know I have flaws. I am a talker and I know that shit. But still, again, I'm not the only one in this position, and I'm just curious as to why people like wanted to put me in my place. I also, for randomly, I remembered this experience in Atlanta when we were all doing our finals. This was in college, this was like 20 years ago. It was after finals, and we all went to dinner, right? And I kid you not, it's like the bad start of a joke. On one side of the table, it was like all of these popular kids from school and like all their friends. And then on the other side of the table, it was me, the Jewish girl, the one black girl, an Asian girl, and then a Native American girl and a Hispanic girl. Like, I was on like the culturally diverse people on like one side of the table, right? Anywho, that really doesn't matter, but I just thought it was funny because it's like a bad start to a joke. And we had the worst server. We had the worst server. And the side of the table that was having the best time, this server brought out their food and drinks, no problem, this, that, and the other. We got our drinks when they were finishing their food, and we had asked like several times. And finally, by the end of it, I was like, just put mine to go. Like, I gotta go. And I tipped them 15%. I rarely do this. I have been in the service industry, and I rarely tip somebody poorly unless they deserve it. And now this was like ongoing throughout the night that, I'm sorry, they didn't pay attention to the side of the table. I cannot make this up. The very next day, this girl that I was friends with at the time calls to tell me how disappointed she was that I left a bad tip to the poor server that was working very hard that night. And I wish I was as brave still, but I was like, at the time, I was like, you have no idea what was happening, do you? And why? Like, you're supposed to be my friend. Why wouldn't you ask me the story on my side first and not just jump at me? And she was like, well, because you come from money and you need to know what it's like to work in the service industry. Bitch, you've picked me up for my job. Work in retail, and I'm like a part-time fucking hostess. Yo, my hair is driving me crazy. What is this? What is this? What is this? Shroom cap. But then once she was done putting me, quote unquote, in my place for being a rich girl, I was like, okay, so let me explain the situation. You guys were having a great time. Did you not notice that by the time you were done with eating, we had just got our drinks? And she was like, oh, I thought you were already done eating. No, we didn't even get our food yet. Did you not notice I got my food to go? Yeah, furthermore, we had one drink. How many refills did you get of your beer? And she was like, oh, I had a pitcher. And I was like, yeah, exactly. I had one beer, didn't even ask, wasn't even asked if I wanted any more. I had one Sprite, I think it was, and I wasn't even refilled on that. And I was like, second of all, why were all the culturally diverse people sitting at one end of the table, and then you're gonna judge me on how I treat somebody who was treating me and my people, like my friends, poorly? No. And then she was like, oh, I wish I would have known that. And I was like, well, you didn't ask. This girl not only was played by this server, the server came up and complained to them. She double paid. She literally paid for my meal and gave him like a 40% tip. And I was like, bitch, you feel stupid now because I have the receipt. I paid already, so he duped you. Yeah, there you go. I don't even know why that's relevant, but y'all know I babble. And it's more so this eclipse is making me realize that throughout my life, I have let people just do this to me over and over again because I was so desperate for connection and friends and community. And then between being in my 40s and on top of that, eclipses and perimenopause, I am just done with the bullshit. I am done with people who are trying to put me in my place constantly for whatever reason. Like, you're either jealous. Like, here's another thing. How come y'all are so intent on buying other people's stuff that I've been trying to do? Like, for example, I knew somebody that for the year that I was doing readings and like teaching witchcraft, never signed up to my newsletter. Not even my newsletter, y'all. And then when I was like, yeah, I'm really sad, it's just too much to like run this course and this, that, and the other with my kid. And, I'm not able to do this consistently. And she's like, yeah, I started using ChatGPT as my tarot reader. Sad. So I'm sure you're going, sorry, I am going to play with my hair this whole time because I just don't know what's going on. What is this? What is this? But know. Like, if anybody's going through something similar, please let me know. It'd be great to know. Were you just like done with the bullshit? And, it started at the beginning of the year. There was a family member that told me that, hey, if you ever need me, like, give me a call. If I can't answer because I'm at work, I'll always call you back. For the past January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, 8 months, I have been told they were so busy. I'm so busy. I'm just so depressed and so anxious. So busy I can't talk. Delete. Sorry. And it makes it even worse because I let this person borrow a shit ton of money and you took advantage of me. Okay. That's nice. Hope you don't call me in the future because I don't have your number saved. No one is that busy. When I tell you I grew up with the example of someone who, my father owned business, like when I say he owns businesses, or he has passed away, but his businesses never had, it was a small business, but like on a large scale. I don't know how to explain this. Sort of like his first like major business, he started out of the trunk of his car and it turned into this like record distribution and export and import business. And amazing. And by the time that he retired from that one, he had like over 800 employees. My dad knew every one of their names. He knew every one of their family member name as far as like their their immediate family. He always had time for his friends. He always had time for his family. So no, you're never too busy. I'm sorry, you're never too busy. And yeah, that might hit some chords that might make people upset. And I'm going to say this all the time. If people want you in their life, they will make an effort. And if I leave you with anything today, don't let people make you feel like you have to prove themselves or yourself to them. You don't. There is no reason why someone cannot text you, hey, I'm okay, like, what's going on? And there's no reason that somebody can't be honest and say, hey, I don't really have that mind space or like, the capacity to talk about this today. Can we talk about it at ABC, right? Be an adult about it. If you tell me you're too busy, but then you turn around and I see you in like a group message where you're talking about how you spent hours doom scrolling on Instagram, you had time to text your friends. You had time to answer somebody back. I mean, I still have a text message left on delivered from 6 months ago to somebody, and I'm just leaving it in my messages just to be curious if they're going to read it or not. That kind of level. So before I close out, because again, y'all, I babble, but this is pretty much what's going on. Before I close out, and it's true, because since I have stopped being the one to initiate the conversation, or reach out and say I miss somebody, or, since I got off social media, it is so interesting how people just ghost you and you start to realize who's really in your life for the right reasons and who's in your life because whatever the reason. You're either doormat, you're, someone they can utilize for funds or, somebody they can get a meal free or somebody they can use as a therapist. And I'm not saying you shouldn't talk to your friends. You should always be able to talk to your friends. But take the next few days, and if any of your relationships are making you upset, then there's something that needs to be clarified about them. Stop being the one to always put yourself first in these conversations, as far as like, stop being the one to initiate it. I know it sucks. I am incredibly lonely. It is really hard to make friends in 2026 when you don't have social media and you live in the country, right? But I'm doing what I can. And, I've found a community of people that are interested in the same things as me. I found a community of cosplayers. I have started a business with my husband. I even started a business on Etsy, which I'm sure you guys have seen on my notes. So start doing stuff for you, essentially, is where I'm getting at. But also watch how much opens up when you close the doors on things that you're trying so hard to keep together. And that's hard for me to say too, because there are people that I've had to let go that I've known for a very, very, very long time. And I still care about them. I really do. But I have realized that since I've moved here, that cord is starting to stretch and stretch and stretch. And if both parties don't work to keep that cord together and to keep that connection, guess what's going to happen? It's going to break. And don't waste your time on shit like that. You deserve much better. they deserve much better. You know, find people that want to be in your life because of you. Find people that support you, encourage you, call you out. One of my best friends calls me out all the time. Oh my God, I love her. She's great. And we have a great time together. And when I say call out, I mean, like, if I'm, acting on my bullshit, she'll be like, hey, you need to take a breath, or hey, like, maybe not. But she also encouraged me. She also, tells me, oh my God, I'm saving your stuff on Etsy. Oh my God, I just bought one of your digital planners. Like, find people who support you, Oh my gosh, I almost talked for 30 minutes, y'all. I apologize. I'm sitting here babbling. This is what happens when I don't make notes for my podcast. But before we leave, I finally remembered to bring my cards. So, eclipse season, all about relationships and, removing pretty much all the things that you normally do during retrograde, right? These are things that you're gonna do like on steroids for the eclipse season, and we're almost done. Thank the gods. I am in a Dragon Rider obsession. I am reading the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros, if that's how you pronounce her name. But I am in love. She is from Colorado and lives in the Springs, so literally like fangirling about this woman. And I'm really loving these books, and I haven't felt that way in a long time. Anywho, the nerdy community that I belong to, I am in this Dragon Rider workout program and challenge, so dragon themed cards. And let me shuffle. What message do we need to hear? You are the crystal of your own life. You are powerful, you are shiny, and you have so much magic to offer. Stop letting people take your peace. Take it back. It's time to take your power back. Get some peace. And that's a lot for me too. And then the last card, Illumination. I don't know if you're Minions fans, but that's literally what comes to mind. But you are on the precipice of becoming that phoenix. You are on that verge of busting forth and showing everybody what you have to offer and the power inside of you. So don't give up. You're almost there. I love you. Have a great rest of your month.